Hey everyone, I'm Heather and welcome back to my channel. So we are back today with the Radiance. I feel like I am almost at the end. I don't know how much longer I have. Maybe could be 15 minutes. Could be more than half an hour. I don't really know, but I'm going to do my best to finish it out today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, what should I do today? This is my Saturday. Yeah, week 12 should be the last week. Okay, so let's check, because this is our last chance to decide where we want to go here. Our composure's pretty good. Quickness is not good. Very. Quickness is not good. I'm wondering if we should leave that, though. I mean, theory seems like it wouldn't be that helpful, but I guess it would be knowing what magic to use. So maybe that. But that's the only one not over 50% that we've focused on. So maybe we do quickness. I believe that was... Was it spring or summer? Yeah, spring. I spend my afternoons in the spring courtyard for a nice jog. I feel refreshed and energized and ready to take on the world. Okay. Now, should I try to push my quickness up, though? Okay. And now we could get quickness up over 50 this time. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So we've already done that. So that should push it over 50 for us. I find myself feeling particularly tired after my weekend activities, so I return to my room and collapse on my bed. I awake with a splitting headache. When I try to sit up, my limbs feel heavy and weak. What's wrong with me? Your body has gotten weaker. The voice comes from very close to me and I jump, startled. It's that necklace. I had actually forgotten it was there, which seems ridiculous because it's not exactly small. What happened? Why am I so weak? Magic giveth and magic taketh away. What does that mean? It means you must give up something to gain something. In this case, I gave you magic in exchange for strength. You didn't tell me that would happen. You didn't ask. I sigh deeply and lay back down on my bed. I feel as if I just run a marathon. I don't like feeling this weak. But having extra magic power does feel nice. Maybe it's an acceptable exchange. If not, I can just take the necklace off and go back to normal. Can I look at my stats? It would take back power, I think. Huh. I don't know if this would make a difference or not. I guess we just leave it as is. This may be a bad decision. We'll leave it. What's a little physical strength when my mental strength is off the charts? I'd say it's an acceptable trait. I'll keep the necklace on. Like force. And endurance. Okay, but in force I never really had a lot of anyway. And my endurance was so high. Time to pick my electives. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I never did force as a thing. But I've done so much endurance that the little bit of endurance did not make much of a difference in my endurance. Okay, time for today's electives. We learn more about how astrology can be used to gain insights into ourselves and others, and how it can be applied to improve communication and deepen relationships. Hey, Kai. Yes? So, you're kind of a sneaky guy. I'm not sure I like where this conversation is going. No, I mean, you're no prank master, right? Not as known as I'd like, but sure, I'll accept that title. So you know how to go places without being seen or heard? I might know a thing or two. Are you asking for a friend? Me. I'm asking for me. I see. What exactly are you trying to achieve? I just want to be able to follow someone without being noticed. Kai gives me a sidelong look, his face unusually serious. You're not going to do something dangerous, right? I'm not going to help a friend get hurt, or worse. It's nothing illegal, I promise. I'll just be following someone to see where they go. Well, as long as observing is all you plan to do, I can go with that. Great. So what are my options? Unfortunately, most of the things we could use won't be ready in time for you to use them this week. Good subterfuge takes time. So there's nothing? No, there is something, but it's not much. Well, don't keep me in suspense. It just so happens that I know a recipe for a muffling potion. Good thing we're in an alchemy lab right now, huh? What's a muffling potion? It dampens the sound of your footsteps so you can move more silently. That's perfect! The downside is it only lasts for about an hour, give or take. It's not an exact science. An hour should be enough. Then let's get to work, partner. We spend the rest of class working on the muffling potion. It turns out green and kind of fizzy. I hope it doesn't taste too terrible, but based upon prior experience, that is not likely. As long as it works. Okay, time for today's elective. We continue to learn about the ancient methods of divining by earth. After electives, I practically run back to the main hall. I need to catch Professor Mordain before he leaves his classroom. I'm determined to find out if the room in my vision belongs to him. I already know the teacup is his, but if I can find his hideout, I'll have actual proof. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm cut out for the stakeout life. The professor doesn't leave his classroom for hours, and I'm tempted to give up. The hallways are now empty of students, which makes blending in a non-option. I sit huddled behind one of the massive columns on the wall, which blocks my vision of the door, but keeps me hidden well enough. It's pretty late when Professor Mordain finally emerges. I hear the creak of the classroom door, then soft footsteps across the marbled floor. I peek out from behind the column. Yup, it's him. He's finally leaving the class building. Now I just have to hope he feels the need to visit his mysterious hiding place rather than go straight to bed. I pull out the tiny bottle of liquid I made that morning. This muffling potion better work. I down the brew in one gulp. It tastes awful. I wait several moments before standing up. I don't feel quieter, but somehow I know it's working. Time to follow. Following someone from several paces back is much harder than it looks in the movies. I have to keep stopping to duck behind another column in case the professor happens to look behind him. Thank goodness for the muffling potion. He'd surely hear my footsteps otherwise. When Professor Mordain turns towards the winter courtyard, an icy thrill goes through me. He's clearly not going to bed. He's going somewhere in the abandoned wing. If I were going to do something nefarious, that's definitely where I would go. I continue to follow the professor into the old dark hallway. My heart is beating so hard I'm afraid the entire school can hear it. We've almost reached the end of the main corridor when Professor Mordain stops at a large wooden door. I've seen this door before, but have no idea where it leads. The professor opens the door, enters, and closes it behind him. I wait several moments before I approach the door, but I'm starting to realize the error in my plan. Professor Mordain isn't going to let anyone just waltz into his secret hideout. And sure enough, the door's not only locked, it appears to be locked by magic. A ripple of disappointment runs through me. However, I now have an idea of where his hideout is. I just need to find a way to get into this door when the professor is not around. Now that club activities are over for the year, I have some extra time on Wednesdays. Extra time to find out what Mordain is doing beyond that old door in the old wing. If my calculations are correct, Professor Mordain will be busy with classes for at least the next couple of hours. That should give me plenty of time to figure out how to get inside that door. But how do I get past this magical lock? It looks like nothing I've ever seen before. The door itself has no knob and no keyhole. Instead, there's a golden plate where the keyhole should be. On the surface of the plate are 4 gemstones. Surely they have something to do with how this door opens. Unfortunately, I have zero experience with magical locks. But I need to get in this door. Time to weigh my options. Okay, so I have most overall arcana, though composure's much higher. I guess let's do arcana. Use psychometry to determine how the door opens. I lean forward, examining the strange golden plate on the door. There are 4 gemstones set in its corners, 1 black, 1 pearlescent white, 1 bright green, and 1 a darker green. This is obviously some sort of puzzle lock, but how does it work? What do the gemstones mean? I run my fingers over the smooth stones and realize they can be pushed like a button. Pushing them all out at once might get me inside, so I start trying to push the gemstones in order. I start from the top and move clockwise, pushing each gemstone in. There's a click, and the gemstones pop back out to their original position. The door does not open. Okay, I guess maybe it's too easy to expect that it'd be a simple clockwise pattern. That wouldn't make a very good lock, would it? But now what am I supposed to do? Push the gemstones in reverse order? Nope, it's not that either. After several minutes of trial and error with no luck, I stop. Random combinations will get me nowhere. I need to try something else. Could I maybe use my oracle abilities to help out? I close my eyes and concentrate, asking for an answer. The first thing I sense is a faint glow in the corner of my vision, then another on the opposite side. A third appears on the left edge of my vision. Another comes into view, this time on the right. What could this possibly mean? I'm not seeing any actual shapes, just vague flashes of light that feel almost like someone is pushing on my eyelids. The pattern of light behind my eye continues in the same order over and over. Is this telling me the order in which to push the buttons? That must be it. Top, bottom, left, right. I push the gemstones in the order indicated. To my surprise, the door creaks open. I did it. I push the door open and hurry inside. I step forward and lean against the wooden door. One more push and the door swings open completely. A chill runs up my spine as I stare into the empty corridor. My heart beats rapidly and I shake off the feeling of dread that has crept upon me. I'm not about to turn around and run. Taking a deep breath, I step through the doorway. The light from the hallway illuminates only a short distance ahead of me. My eyes adjust quickly, and I soon get a sense of which way is which. I walk slowly, scanning the walls for any sign of movement, but there is none. All I can hear is the faint sound of my own heartbeat. The silence grows unnerving. Without warning, the floor beneath my feet begins to move. I scream and stumble backwards. Then I realize what I'm seeing. The floor is sliding aside, revealing stairs leading downward. I force myself to calm down. What else can I do? I have to follow these steps. Steeling myself, I start to descend the staircase, one slow step at a time. Darkness surrounds me, but I ignore the fears and focus on each step. After descending a few floors, I finally feel some light coming from below. I continue downward until I reach another corridor. Suddenly, I'm in what appears to be a huge underground catacomb. I step into a large corridor with a wooden door at the end, a door that is slightly ajar. This is it. This is the door for my vision. I move forward, arm outstretched towards the door's handle. For a moment I hesitate, then I take a deep breath and grip the handle. Slowly, I pull the door open. The room is small and dimly lit. Shelves filled with books and bottles line the wall. It looks like some kind of study. What has Professor Mordain been doing in here? Glancing around, I realize I need to be quick. I don't know when Professor Mordain will return. I need to find something that can be used as evidence that he is behind all the notes and attacks. I search the shelves first, digging through the dusty old books and pulling out old jars. All I find are old newspapers and journals, nothing that will tell me what I need to know. Some shelves are full of strange magical objects and what appears to be potion ingredients. There are a collection of empty bottles along with a few that are filled with a dark reddish liquid. Each one has a label number written on it, 412, 424, 512, 524. What could this mean? With a sigh, I decide to turn my attention to the desk. It's covered in papers and pens, along with several books, most of them handwritten. They're just like the ones I've seen in Professor Mordain's office. I search the drawers, but they also appear to be locked, except for one. There's no lock and no sign of keyhole. I give the drawer a pull and it slides open easily. As soon as the drawer opens, my heart skips a beat. Inside lies a thin envelope. I take out the letter and examine it. On the front, there's a seal with a symbol I don't recognize. It looks like a crescent moon with a dot in the center. Carefully, I unfold the letter and read the words written there. W. It has come to my attention that you have not sent the required payment for the second time this month. We are not running a charity organization. Either pay up or you won't be receiving another extender potion from us or any of the Sullen. This is your last warning. My eyes go wide as I read over the words once more. The letter is not signed, but it's clear that it's from one of the Sullen. But who is W? Then, a cold hand grabs my shoulder. I cry out and swing my fist as hard as I can, connecting with whatever is grabbing me. I turn around and see a tall figure standing before me. Oh, Heather, I hoped it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I open my mouth to speak, but Professor Mordain lashes out, hitting me over the head, hard. My vision darkens and I begin to fall. When I open my eyes again, it takes several moments for me to remember where I am. My body feels heavy and numb, and everything seems blurry. I have to blink several times to clear my vision. Slowly I sit up, wincing as my head throbs. I try to reach up and see how bad the wound is. That's when I notice I'm bound by a thick rope. My arms are tied tightly at the wrists, while my legs are likewise secured. Then I notice I'm not alone. Professor Mordain stands nearby, his hands folded behind his back. He wears a smug smile. I see you've awoken. Good. Now we can get started. You see, I made sure the door to this study would be unlocked so I could surprise you. And you know what surprises me? He leans forward, staring at me intently. That you were dumb enough to fall for such an obvious trap. I guess your oracle powers have led you astray. Of course, just as I anticipated. You must have thought you were being clever. Well, let me put things into perspective for you. You see, I knew you would come searching for answers, so I decided to teach you a lesson. A very important lesson about using your powers. About power itself. Power is not worth much unless you use it wisely. Power is not a weapon, rather it is a tool. Once wielded wrongly, it can destroy those you love. But if used correctly, it can become your greatest ally. Otherwise, it becomes a terrible burden. Do you understand now? I don't understand at all. This sounds like the babbling of a crazy person. Instead, I ask a question. Who are you? You have to ask. If you had used your powers properly, you would have known exactly who I was. After all, you are the Oracle. For now. The words echo in my head. Is he right? How could I not know? Am I supposed to be able to read the future? Why didn't I realize that Professor Mordain was a threat right away? I looked wildly around the room. I need to escape, but my ropes seem too strong for me. I don't even dare to try while Mordain is still in the room. Your powers are meaningless without knowledge of how to use them. If only you had consulted me, I would have explained this to you. I've been in your shoes before, after all. Oh, is he William? What does that mean? You haven't figured it out yet? I thought for sure you were onto me when you found Sebel's journal. She too had trouble discovering I was still alive. Though she did eventually find out. A bit too late. My mind is still whirling, but one thing sticks out. Still alive. Could he be... So it's true, you're actually William, the former Oracle? So you do know something after all. Yes, I was once called the Oracle. For many years I lived as the Oracle. I foresaw the future. I knew everything. But then, well, I think you know what happened next. I don't actually know, not really. William supposedly drowned in the Aegean Sea. But here he is, standing before me over 100 years later, still alive. But how? How am I still alive? Back then, when Sebel found me, I did die, for only a few minutes, but it was long enough for the transfer of power to take place. They never found your body. That's right, they assumed I was at the bottom of the sea, but I managed to make it back to shore with the help of a sailor that found me shortly after Sebel fled the scene. Unfortunately, my oracle powers were already lost. So if you're human, how have you survived so long? Well, that's easy. There are plenty of ways for a human to use radiant magic to their benefits. They just have to know who to ally themselves with. Like the sullen? Don't act so righteous, Heather. As humans, we've been deprived access to magic for thousands of years. Do you think that's fair, that we remain separated? The sullen wish only to unite our races, to return to tradition. Then we, as humans, will have access to the magic as well. What do you want with me, then? Exactly what I had tried and failed to do with Sebel, to get the Oracle's powers back. You killed Sebel. I gave her the poison that would have killed her, yes, but she managed to get away from me, to escape back to the human realm. That's when you found her. I squirm uncomfortably in my position on the floor, tugging hopelessly against my restraints. They are too tight. So then you're going to kill me so you can be the Oracle again? I'm afraid so, but it will have to wait. I'd kill you now, but the power transfer will be far more effective if it's done during the witching hour. I trust you will be here when I return. Oh, that's right. You can't really move, can you? He laughs as he glances towards my restraints, and I wonder how I ever thought this man was kind and gentle. With that, Mordain, or William, stalks out of the room. The door clicks behind him. He's locking me in. After a few moments, I hear his footsteps fade away. Then there's silence. Just silence. My mind races. I have to get out of here, but how? I struggle against my bonds, pulling and tugging, trying to break free. It doesn't work. Soon my muscles burn from all my efforts. Even if I manage to break out of the ropes, the door to this room is locked from the outside. If only there was a way to contact someone. Wait, didn't Arian once say I could use my mind to speak to another mind user? Could I possibly contact Arian in this way? I'm not certain, but I'm sure as hell going to try. Breathing hard, I focus. No matter how exhausted I am, I force myself to stay alert. I call upon every ounce of strength I possess. I call out with my mind. Arian! For several long moments, nothing happens. I continue to strain, trying to work my magic. Finally, I feel a faint connection form between us. Heather? I exhale sharply. I did it! I've made contact. I can feel his mind, but the connection is weak. It feels like he's far away. Heather, where are you? Are you okay? No, I'm not okay. I need you to send help. Professor Mordain is... I'm on my way. Wait, no, you don't understand. He's crazy, Arian. He's got all sorts of magical objects. He could hurt someone. That's why I'm coming alone. What? No, that's even worse. It's too dangerous. A moment later, Arian's presence vanishes from my mind. I focus on my own thoughts and listen carefully. I concentrate harder than I ever have before, but I don't feel him. Arian? Arian! It's no use. The connection is gone. I didn't even tell him where I was. I need to get myself free before he gets here. Despite Arian's power, I can't let him take on a madman alone. I start to struggle against my bonds again. There's got to be something in this room that can help me with this. I inch towards the desk, which is quite the feat given my ankles are also bound. When I reach the desk, I manage to pull myself up towards its surface where two brightly lit candles sit. I stare at the glowing wick, wondering if it will be enough to burn through these ropes. Might as well try. What other option do I have? I lean forward, holding the flame close to the ropes. The heat scorches me a bit more than I anticipated. I realize that this might take a long time. Hurry. That's when I hear footsteps approaching. Is it Arian? Did he manage to find me after all? I knew I smelled smoke. Nice trick with the candles. Very clever. Too bad it didn't work. I don't answer. I just glare at him, waiting for him to do or say whatever he intends. As he walks over to me, I stare him down. I tug on my ropes again. The fire has weakened them a little, but not quite enough for me to pull free yet. Suddenly, too fast for me to even realize what's happening, Mordain slumps forward, a cry of pain escaping his lips. I look up in shock to see Arian standing in the doorway, breath heaving. Arian! Somehow, Mordain has already recovered, pulling himself up off the ground. How can he be human? Well, well, if it isn't the oculi, have you come here to save our precious oracle? Arian steps into the room in silence, but I can feel the power radiating off of him. Why didn't you just kill me, oculi? Isn't that what your people are known for? Death and destruction? I see a flicker of rage cross Arian's face, and my breath catches. This is it, the moment from my vision, the moment that filled me with fear and dread. I don't know how, but I know that this is the moment. If Arian lets his rage consume him, then... Yes, we are known for that. And sometimes it makes sense to cause death and destruction when a life is threatened. How very true. Your kind kills without thinking twice about it. I suppose you just can't help yourselves. Don't listen to him, Arian. You don't have to hurt anyone. My voice sounds desperate, but Arian doesn't seem to hear me. His eyes grow dark. If this continues, he will kill Mordain. Let's stop him. I can't let Arian become a killer. I have to stop him, to calm him down somehow. I reach out with my mind. Arian, don't. You don't have to do this. Speaking to his mind has gotten his attention. He turns, staring at me. His expression is so full of fury that he reminds me of an avenging god. Stop this, Arian. This isn't who you are. His gaze is cold, almost chilling. He stares back at me for a long moment, then nods. The rage drains from him, leaving nothing behind. He takes a deep breath, his chest rising and falling slowly. You're right. I won't let it take me. Not like this. Big mistake, Oculi. You should have killed me when you had the chance. A moment later, Mordain's hand flares bright red. He's holding some sort of orb. One of the orbs from the shelf. Then throws it in a flash and a bolt of crimson light streaks towards Arian. Look out! But it's too late. The bolt hits Arian squarely in the back and he collapses. Arian's body tumbles forward onto the floor. No! I scramble towards Arian. His eyes are closed. His body appears lifeless, but I can feel his mind. He's not dead, but I need to do something fast. Desperately, I yank at the ropes one last time, and finally they loosen enough to allow me to wriggle free. Once my hands are free, I'm able to release the rest of my restraints quite easily. Mordain watches me with amusement, as if he relishes the chance of a fight between us. Then he steps over Arian's unconscious form and smiles darkly at me. I must admit, I didn't expect you to be able to release yourself from your bindings. I'm almost impressed. I'm unable to answer. My mind is racing. What do I do now? Where do I go? Mordain is blocking my path to the exit. I need to disable him somehow. I suppose this means I'll have to restrain you some other way. I don't need you making any of this more difficult. Mordain walks casually towards one of the shelves filled with various magical items. I have no time to think. I need to stop him now. We don't have the physical power. We might be able to do Mind Blast. We have no physical power. So let's do a Mind Blast. I have no weapons, and I'm not super confident in my ability to fight him hand to hand. What else do I have at my disposal? My mind. My classes have taught me that a powerful mind can do serious damage to someone without mental defenses. I managed to do it once with Arian during our tutoring session in the old library. Could I possibly do it again? Now, which of these little toys will be the most fun to use on you? I ignore him, closing my eyes and focusing my mind. As I do, I suddenly feel my body begin to hum with power. Mordain's guard must be down, because entering his mind is much easier than I anticipated. However, it doesn't take him long to realize what I'm doing. He immediately throws up his mental shields, so hard I nearly gasp in surprise. Oh, so you're more powerful than I gave you credit for. But you forgot, I also have experienced the power of the Oracle. I know all your little tricks. His voice has grown raspy, and I know he's fighting to maintain control of himself. Go ahead then. Let's see what you can do. He may know how to defend his mind, but he's still human. I continue to push against his mental walls, trying to find the weak spots. His thoughts are chaotic, full of rage and hysteria. What are you waiting for? Mordain shouts in my direction. I open my eyes to see him laughing, but there are beads of sweat on his forehead. I'm getting through. I know I am. He's beginning to walk towards me. His arrogance is keeping him from attacking me outright, but this can't go on much longer. I need to break through, take him by surprise. Just like the last time I attempted this, I visualize his mind like a closed door, a door I have to smash open. I grit my teeth and muster up all the strength I have inside my mind. I slam into his mental door, and it splinters open, sending shards of broken wood flying. Mordain gasps, his face growing pale. For a moment, I am shocked by my success, but is quickly replaced by fear when I realize he's still standing. I'm about to try again when Mordain reaches out to grab me. I jump back, narrowly avoiding his touch. I've managed to get past his barriers. His mental door is shattered. All I need is one more push. You won't beat me. This ends here. This ends today. His hand shoots towards me, but I'm ready. My body feels warm and tingly, and I sense a surge of energy flowing inside me. I release everything I have, expelling all my energy in one large push. Mordain stumbles backwards, eyes wide. He attempts to recover, but it's clear he is weakened. He lies on the floor, breathing strained. I'm surprised he is still conscious. Whatever he's been doing for the past 100 years has certainly given him strength and resilience. I approach him slowly. One more mental push should knock him out. Wait, it doesn't have to be this way. We could still work together. You're smart, talented, capable of great things. Maybe we can even save the world, together. What is he trying to say? Work together? Shut him up. William continues to look at me with those pleading eyes, but I'm having none of it. Whatever you have to say, save it. I don't trust you. Not anymore. I give one more mental push. His eyes roll back and he slumps to the ground. Still alive, but likely not getting up anytime soon. Just then, I hear footsteps approaching. I turn to see Professor Balin, followed by several others marching into the room. Help has arrived. Professor Balin rushes to my side, helping me to my feet. He glances at the unconscious form of Professor Mordain, then at Arian. I find myself babbling, unsure what to say. Professor Balin, you're okay. I'm sorry. Don't apologize, Miss Ash. You showed remarkable bravery, and you did well. Most people would not have been able to defeat him as easily as you did. Now, let's get you out of here. The authorities can handle Mordain. I nod and let the headmaster lead me away, leaving the dungeons behind. I wake up in my bed, still wearing yesterday's clothes. I groan and sit up. My body aches all over. As I rub my forehead, I see that I am indeed in my own room, but I barely remember coming back here after my ordeal with Mordain. I feel drained, exhausted beyond belief. I guess I'm glad that I didn't lose the mental power for the physical power that I hadn't really cultivated anyway. But I'm safe and I'm at home. That thought alone makes me smile. There are no classes for me today for obvious reasons, so instead I meet with Professor Balin, who listens patiently as I recount everything that transpired the nights before. Turns out I was correct in my assumption that Mordain was responsible for poisoning the headmaster, likely to keep him out of the way while he completed his task. The task of killing me to gain the Oracle's powers, that is. It was pure luck that the headmaster recovered in time to retrieve me from my basement prison. When I finish my tale, the headmaster sits back, looking thoughtful. After everything you've been through, it seems rather odd to be concerned with these mundane affairs, but tomorrow is your final meeting with the council. I don't even need to ask if you're prepared. I have no doubt that you are. But what do you plan to do with your last evening at Sarenvale? My final evening at Sarenvale. The thought only just now hits me. After this council meeting, I may not ever come back to this place. As for what I plan to do with my last hours, well, there's someone I'd like to spend the evening with, someone who helped me when I needed it most. Professor Balin smiles at me, eyes twinkling. Then I suggest you get going. I arrive at Arian's door a few moments later. He opens it, smiles, and embraces me. I return his embrace, holding him tightly. After a moment, he pulls me through the door and into his room. I was waiting for you to stop by. Thank you for being there for me. You clearly didn't need me. You handled him all on your own. All thanks to your excellent tutelage. That's something I never thought I'd hear you say. I grin, leaning forward to kiss him on the cheek. Yes, well, I guess there are some surprises left in life. He returns my kiss, starting with a small peck on my cheek, then one on my lips. My heart flutters, and I lean into his touch. At long last, he pulls back, looking deep into my eyes. So what do you have planned for your last evening at Sarenvale? Nothing special, just spending the day with a certain mirror person. Well, if you're going to spend time alone with a mirror person, you better stay alert. How about some coffee? Sounds perfect. With my last day at Sarenvale complete, I take a moment to glance around the room that has become my home in such a short period of time. Tomorrow, my future will be decided. The day arrives. It's time for my final meeting with the council. I have to admit, I am nervous. My mind is racing, thinking about what they might ask me or demand of me. What if I don't know enough? What if I'm nothing but a big disappointment? Professor Balin meets me outside of the courtroom. He smiles warmly at me as I approach. Miss Ash, your final day has arrived. How are you feeling? Nervous, but also kind of excited? That's normal, I suppose. You'll be fine, though. I've watched you grow tremendously in the last few months. Not just your magical skills, but also your confidence and your courage. My throat goes dry and I swallow hard. Then I nod quickly, unable to say anything else. I can feel tears stinging at the backs of my eyes. You have come far, Miss Ash, and there is much more ahead for you. The world awaits you, and it is awaiting eagerly. His words sound like an invitation, and suddenly I realize how very right he is. And yet, even as he speaks those encouraging words, part of me cannot help but fear. What happens now? If the council accepts me as the Oracle, what then? And will I be content with that life? Will I really be able to fulfill their expectations? As if sensing my thoughts, Professor Balin reaches out and places both hands gently on mine. His gaze turns serious. Listen well, Miss Ash. You are in control of your destiny. You may have obligations, but you get to choose exactly how you fulfill those obligations. You have spent the last few months honing your skills, and those skills will help you decide how you choose to proceed. Now is not the time for self-doubt, but instead, it is time to embrace everything you are capable of. Be brave. He releases my hands, and I stare down at them. I feel all the edginess I was feeling melt away. Thank you. Anytime, just remember, no matter where this path takes you, I am here to support you every step of the way, whatever you need. Professor Balin looks down at me and smiles as he gestures towards the large wooden doors before us. Beyond those doors, the council will make their final assessment of me and my future will be decided. Are you ready, Miss Ash? My heart is pounding wildly, but I hold my head up high. I'm ready. I take a deep breath and step into the room. Time to decide my future. What do I want to do? I want to do what I came here to do. Okay. Council Oracle. Well, that's pretty. Dear Diary, it's me again. I know it's been a while since I've written anything here, but I've been quite busy since I left Sarenvale Academy. To be honest, I have no idea what to write today. My mind is so full of thoughts that my fingers can hardly keep up with them. So I guess I'll just start from the beginning. Professor Mordain was immediately turned into the council following the events at Sarenvale. Unfortunately, I'm not positive what has become of him since then. Perhaps the council thinks it is best that I do not know the details, but I am sure they locked him up in Grey Rock, the largest prison this side of the hemisphere. He should rot in there until the end of days. As for me, despite being hesitant at first, I decided to accept the position of the Oracle of the Council of Radiance. Professor Balin told me at the time that I made the correct decision, which brought me some measure of comfort, but I couldn't deny that I was anxious about taking on such a huge responsibility. Now I work closely with the Council using my visions to guide their decisions and help them navigate the complexities of the radiant world. Despite some missteps, I feel that I have quickly proved myself to be a valuable asset. The truth is, I didn't expect any of this. When I received my abilities, I never thought I would be able to use them to help anyone, let alone lead people. But the fact remains, I am the Oracle, despite how unbelievable it may be. I have found purpose and meaning in my abilities to see things other people do not. There have been times when I felt overwhelmed and scared, and I often questioned whether or not I could handle everything thrown my way, but I've never doubted my abilities. In fact, I feel that my powers have helped me discover more of who I truly am. Irian decided to remain at Sarenvale and become an official professor. He says that being a teacher keeps him grounded, and I believe that is true. While I miss having him around all the time, I understand why he stayed. He seems happy with his choice, though I don't think he is completely over everything that happened back then. I visit him as often as I can, and I always look forward to each reunion. I have amassed quite a collection of wooden figurines, each more beautiful than the last. Irian calls them mere souvenirs, but they are priceless to me. Each one has a unique story behind it. However, the one thing they share is the reminder of our friendship and love for each other. So there you have it, the story of my life these days. Alright, maybe not the whole story, but close enough. I don't have nearly enough space in this journal to tell you all of it. And anyway, what fun would that be? I've got to leave some of the good stuff for later. Okay. Well, that is the Radiance. So I know there are other romance options, there are other activities, and I know there are going to be new weekend activities coming out, as well as at least 1 or 2 romance options that were on the stretch goals of the Kickstarter that have yet to be released, because they're being released soon. So I might try this again, try someone else. I know the roommate is romanceable, as well as Kai and Gray, and I'm not sure which DLC is going to be romanceable. The next romanceable person. But yeah, I guess that is everything for the Radiance, and I will see you guys later. Bye!